STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, problem-based learning. These are the concepts that are important in education today. The annual Cardboard Canoe Race at Firestone is going to show those concepts in action. The students will be given an open-ended problem, a common bill of material, and be asked to create their winning boat. The concepts: buoyancy, displacement, center of mass, force. This shows them the application of those concepts, the answer to a real-world problem. Welcome to the annual Cardboard Canoe Race at Firestone High School, sponsored by Project Lead the Way, the pre-engineering program.
Okay, we're going to be here at the Project Lead the Way boat races. My name's Sandy Toggier, and I'm with
Kalen Canuck.
And we're going to get this started by explaining you the course. The participants are going to start on the bottom right-hand corner of the pool, and they're going to make a dash to the left corner of the pool, and then they're going to go back across to the upper right-hand corner, and then they're going to go horizontally to the left side of the pool, and then go down halfway, pick up their objects, and then make a dash for the finish. And that's going to be the course. The fastest time, they'll all be timed, and the fastest time will be announced the winner.
The boats are also going to be sorted by tinfoil and cardboard and faculty staff members.
And we also have Litchfield Middle School, National Adventures Hall of Fame coming, along with Firestone High School. And we're just about getting ready to start with the first boat in. The first boat is going to be Carrie, Chris, Tyler, and Stefan. Chris and Stefan are going in the boat. Their boat is going to have to hold about 250 pounds. And we're just waiting for the all clear to start going. They're receiving the oars now. They're going to be getting into their boat and take off.
They are part of the POE sophomore class. They learned about buoyancy, displacement, center of gravity, the use of oars, and construction safety when building their boats this year. The POE class is Principle of Engineering. It mainly focuses on the physics behind building structures and boats.
And every single boat, no matter if you were from a middle school or a high school, you were given a common bill of materials. You were given rolls of duct tape. You were given one cardboard box, which was about 40 inches by 40 inches. And you were given exactly 60 yards of duct tape, 8 ounces of glue. And there were some holes in the cardboard, so this year they were given saran wrap. And for the tinfoil boats, they were given 100 feet of window bead, 1 ball of twine, hot glue, 75 square foot of tinfoil, and a roll of duct tape to make their tinfoil boat. And right now, Mr. Spak is going over the procedures of how this boat races are going to go. And we're just waiting for him to get the first boat in the water. And everything from there should be smooth sailing. We're going to do, once the boat finishes, another one's going to start. And the first boat is getting put into the water now. It's going to be Chris and Stefan going in the boat. 250 pounds they're going to have to hold. Stefan just got in the boat, and Chris is going to follow behind him in the boat. And they're getting situated. They're grabbing the oars, and they're going to start rowing, and they're going to start the course here.
It looks like they're just heading over to Sharkey right now, and they're going to get their first piece.
They're going down the thick and water.
and they're tipping. Nope, they got to even out. They are very off balance. They are moving towards the second piece at this point, not very fast and very wobbly. Looks like they might not make it too far, but they're still going. They're almost at their second piece.
They're going to the second piece, which is Marcus. They're going to have to pick up a piece, and they're tripping a little bit, taking out some water, but they're still good. Now they're actually backwards, and they're trying to fix themselves. And they actually fixed themselves, and they're going to be going to the third piece that they're going to need to pick up. And they're going not too fast, but not too slow. It is a cardboard boat.
Their rowing doesn't seem to be well
And their rowing
together.
Isn't well coordinated. One's rowing bad, and they're kind of turning.
Trying to reach.
And they've got the third piece now. They're going to make a dash for the fourth piece.
Then after that, all they have to do is head back to the start.
And their design is rather simple. It's simply a box with simply like a nose type out. because when they're taking on more water, the more they displace with the top, the more they could carry in their boat.
Looks like they had the hose in their box at the beginning, so they have saran wrap around these sides.
And they're going to be making their way to the fourth piece here, and they're going to pick that up now, and they're going to make a dash for the finish.
And that will be their time.
And they're just coming on the finish now. And that's going to be it. The first boat is going to be a success. It's going to make the entire course in about, I would say, probably about minute 40, minute 30, something around there. And now people are just going to pull that boat out, and the next one's going to be coming in, which is going to be number 2, and that's going to be from FHS. It's going to be IED, which is a freshman class. It's going to be Libby, Demi, and Jasper and Zach. They're going to be 2 people in the boat, Libby and Jasper. They're going to need to hold 240 pounds in their boat. And Jasper's going in now with a canoe row, so he's going to be going in alone instead of Libby. They might have changed that.
They are from Firestone's IED class, which is the freshman class. Oh, and they
he's
are
down.
done.
He's down. So that boat didn't get too far off. It was more of like a canoe type, the reason it failed was probably because it didn't displace enough water, and he was a little too wobbly, so he was messing with the center of gravity.
It's a lot harder to keep those balanced than it looks like.
Yeah, just because you're not really centered, and it's just moving back and forth. Third boat's getting their picture taken now. It's going to be a Litchfield class. It's going to be David, Matt, and Zach. And I don't know how much weight they're exactly going to have to hold, but it looks like 3 people are going in there, so it's going to be about 180, 90 pounds, I estimate. And it looks like Matt's getting in now. He's going to get in the back and let Zach get in the front. He's going to grab his oar.
Actually, it looks like there's just 2 of them going in side by side.
Yeah, I don't think that can always be a problem when you're doing it side by side because the center of gravity is not really front and back. It'll be more towards the left and right.
Yeah.
And they're going to the first piece now. They're having some rowing problems, not really coordinated.
Yeah, they're having trouble getting off that first wall to get any leverage on the right-hand side of their boat.
And they're turning their boat to make a dash for the second object, which is going to be a straight cut to the upper left hand of the pool.
They're looking relatively sturdy, though, overall.
They're not really taking on much water. They're staying above water pretty good. And they have a unicorn. They have a roll of duct tape, actually, acting as a unicorn.
I'm sure that was very useful for some of the design.
And they're going to grab their second piece now, and they're going to turn to go to the third object, which is going to be Mike Tedesco. He's holding the object. He's a senior in the Project Lead the Way. He's been in all the classes, and he's also made boats last year. And he hands them the third piece, and they're going to be making a turn to go to Rachel, which is the third piece holder, and they're going to make a dash for it. This boat's actually doing pretty good. It hasn't really taken on any water at all. Halfway through the course, they've gotten their rowing down.
It doesn't look like they've really got any holes in it at all. Looks like they haven't gone under any. They got their rowing down pat more, it looks like. They're relatively good.
They've got their third piece. They've got their fourth piece now, and they're making a dash for the finish, which is probably going to be a little slower than the last one. And they're making their dash now. Really smooth race. No real problems except the rowing in the beginning, but they got that down halfway through. And they're going to finish.
Second boat to make it out of 3 so far. That's not bad odds.
And now the fourth boat is going to be going in.
This is going to be the National Inventors Hall of Fame Middle School with their first team. We don't have the list of people inside, but they are going to be there. Their instructor, it looks like, was their technology coach, Mr. Ed Garcia.
And they just got their picture now, or they're getting their picture now, and they're going to be going into the boat now. It looks like 2 people are going into the boat. And the first one goes in. He's going to be kind of in the... Wait, there looks like there's 3 going in, and he's going to be in the bottom left-hand corner of the boat, and another one's going to move in the upper front, and I think there's going to be another one in the back to level it out. Wait, actually, there's 4. So there's going to be 2 on the left, right, and top, and there's going to be 2 on the right, and top. And they're off.
They have to hold significantly more weight than the other ones, but they should be able to go faster if they plan it out right.
And the way their boat is designed, it displaces a lot of water, so they should have no problem at all carrying that weight. And they're rowing actually pretty fast. The rowing's pretty smooth. They're going to pick up their first object now. They're going to get that, and they're going to be making a dash to the second object. They're going to have to make a turn, and this boat really isn't that mobile, so it's going to be difficult to turn with 4 people in there.
Yeah, it's one of the 4 problems. One of the main problems with having 4 corners on your boat is that it makes it a little bit harder to turn, especially on sharp turns, which there aren't that many of this time, actually.
And now they're starting to slow down. Their rowing's kind of not synced anymore. They're moving to the middle of the pool, not exactly to the left upper left-hand corner where they should be, but they're moving there now. And they're going to have a really big problem turning around because they're facing the bleachers and not to the third piece they're going to have to grab. So they're going to make a turn now.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a full 180 turn, which is a lot more difficult than just a simple 90-degree.
And they're stuck here on the corner.
Yeah, they seem to just be treading at this point, but they managed to push themselves off and are somewhat turning, maybe?
Somewhat turning. They're actually going backwards, not exactly turning.
Whatever works.
They're really killing some time here, and they're finally making that turn, and they're going to make a dash for the third piece to grab.
Yeah, you can see their boat is actually holding up very well, though. It doesn't seem that the sides are giving in at all. Oh, they are actually just lost balance for a second, but they're doing well now.
Yeah. That's the advantage of a big design. When you have a lot of people in there, it's really easy to balance the boat just because, like, as long as the weights are balanced, they shouldn't really have a problem. And they're going to be making a third, and they're going to have to reach out to get it, and they grab it. And now they're going to have to make another 180 turn to grab the 4th piece from Rachel. And they're really killing some time here. Their turns are really bad, and their rowing is really unsynced ever since they got from the middle.
Looks like they're not too sure about where they're supposed to go either, but it looks like they figured that out.
And they're making it so far. And they're going down a little bit. They're going down.
It looks like they are done.
And I think they got a hole. No, they're still going.
No. I don't know. No, their back is under.
And they're...
what?
They're still going. And they're about to go down, and they're down.
Out. Oh, well.
They're down.
That was a good run.
And the rescue swimmers are going to grab the boat and any people that cannot swim. Make sure we don't have any issues here. And that's going to be the first boat to go down in the middle of a race. They were going to go grab the 4th piece, and they just went down. Looks like their boat's
You can see
caught
their
some
whole
water.
back side actually fell in, it looks like, from here. But, yeah, their back side started collapsing inwards. It probably took on too much pressure from the water. So everyone's going to go ahead and get the actual cardboard and the oars out of the water now to get ready for the next race.
And we have Sam Allred and David Creekbaum grabbing the sunken cardboard boat, and they're just going to move it off to the side and throw it away, I guess. And they've got the 5th team going in.
It's the Roswell Kent Middle School first team. Again, we don't have a list of names for the members in the boat.
And they're getting their picture taken now.
Roswell Kent Middle School has a GTT program, which is a precursor into the Project Lead the Way. The teacher for that would be Miss Connie Duff.
And they're putting their boat in now. There's actually 2 seniors from Firestone that put the boats in. And then we have a lot of seniors like helping out with the program. Like we have all seniors are being used to either give out things, be rescuers for the sunken boats and stuff, and help boats get in. And these guys are going to be off, and they're going to start rowing. There's going to be 2 people in there. It's a fairly big boat, and it seems like they're having a problem rowing it just because it's so big.
Yeah, it looks like they can't get their arms quite over the edge. A bit of an awkward angle, I suppose. And they're actually turning themselves somehow.
Yeah, their rowing is not very well coordinated, and they're having some problems because their walls are too high, and they're a little shorter when they sit down. So they can't really get good leverage on the oar. And they're going to grab their first piece here in about 30 seconds. That's not too bad. And they're going to be making a dash to the second piece.
Looks like they actually have an open part in the front of their boat, which is a bit of an awkward design.
Yeah, I've never seen that design before. And they're turning. They're not going the right direction. I think they should actually get on their knees so they can actually have a better torque on the oar, better grip on it, and swim through it better.
Yeah. It looks like one of them might actually be on their knees. I'm not sure. The walls, these are just the weird things you don't take into consideration when you make the boat, is how hard it is to actually reach over and get leverage.
Yeah. And with all the rocking and stuff, it gets really hard to row the boats. And he's going to grab the second piece here. There, he grabs it, and he's going to make a dash for Mike, which is going to be the third piece. And one of the problems is when one person is rowing too fast and the other person is rowing too slow, what actually happens is the boat ends up turning, and that's definitely a problem because you start doing 180 turns and you start going in the wrong direction. And they're going to grab their third piece now, and they grabbed it. And they're going to make a dash for Rachel, which is the fourth piece.
After that, all they have to do is get back to the finish line, and they will be our third boat, I believe, to complete the race.
And they've clocked in about 150 right now so far. It's not a terrible time for such a big boat and only two people in there. They're actually awkwardly shaped to the left, but they're still moving in the right direction. That's because the person on the left is actually rowing harder than the person on the right. And they're awkwardly sideways wobbling over there.
It looks like they're almost going backwards now, but another key part to this is communication, so that you can tell each other how fast you need to row to keep up with the other person.
Yeah,
keep in sync.
Yeah, because like I said before, if you're not synced up with the other person, you're just going to be going all over the place, and you're just going to be doing what they're doing now, is going sideways.
Which
and that really kills
less
some
than
time.
ideal. Yeah, they're putting way more force into it than they need to because the boat is designed to move forward most times.
And they're going to be picked up the fourth piece now, and they're going to be moving for the finish line. They've clocked in 2:40 right now. Not the greatest time, but then again, you can't harm them for trying.
And this is a middle school team, so this is also their first attempt at the race. So they have no previous experience other than what their instructor has informed them of.
Yeah, me and Kayla know from past experience, when the second time you build a boat, you build it so much better simply because you learned from experience about what you actually need, the wall heights, and just other things that you need for waterproofing the boat and making it go faster. And they're going to make it here.
Made it all the way.
They're going to make about 3:13 as they're going to be their final time here. And that's going to be the third boat, I believe, to fully go across. And now we're going to have the sixth boat go in. This is also going to be from
Roswell Kent Middle School. This is going to be their second team. Again, we don't have the members of the team. It looks like there are two of them going in.
Fairly big boat. Let's see if they have the same problem as their colleagues, and the problem with the maneuvering the boat and the power and the oar sinking up.
It looks like they are actually going back to front because they have a longer boat than the other. Again, though, it looks like they're having a lot of an easier time reaching over the walls.
Because they're actually on their knees this time, which definitely makes it a lot easier to row the boat and sync up the rowing.
The one main problem with going on your knees once you're inside the boat is it's somewhat harder to keep the boat balanced due to the fact that your knees aren't spreading your weight out as equally as if you were to sit cross-legged.
So far, we've had a really good run on designs of boats. A lot of them have been successful without really any problems of going down or anything. So really, really good to see that from middle schoolers that are just making this for the first time.
Definitely.
Really impressive.
Looks like they're having a little bit of trouble getting to second destination at this point, which is where a lot of boats seem to get hung up on this turn.
And they're kind of going to the middle, not exactly the corner, which is definitely going to cut some time. And they're going to be picking up their third piece now.
Second piece. This is their second piece.
Oh, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And they're just at the corner. They're going to have to make a complete 180 turn. And it seems like they're having some difficulty with that. And they actually get the turn going.
It looks like they actually are starting to tilt a little bit, get off balance, but they should be able to clean that up.
And definitely leaning on the boat on one side that you want to turn on definitely helps with the turning process.
You also have to make sure that you have enough clearance between the wall and the water, though, that you can do that. Otherwise, you're probably going to go under.
And they're kind of sticking to the edge of the pool, which is definitely a bad idea because one person that's rowing on the left can't really row because he's hitting the side of the pool. That could create some problems.
And then you're just going to keep hitting the ball repeatedly, and you're not going to get too much done.
And now they just grabbed the third piece here, and they're going to be turning around and heading for Rachel now. They actually made their turn a lot more smoother this time. And they're off. They're actually going pretty fast. Or seems like they're syncing up their rowing a lot better.
Yeah.
And they're going really fast.
Not show up today, so Team 7 is not here.
What?
Team 7 isn't here. Did Mr.
Okay.
Spak bother to tell you that Miller South
He
is
said
not
Team
here?
13 isn't here.
Okay.
Oh, Miller South didn't show up at all?
I guess not.
So cross out all the Miller Souths?
Probably, yeah.
Come on. Okay, and they just grabbed their fourth piece here, and they're going to be making a dash for the finish. They're making their turn. And seems like they're having a lot better turning. Definitely learned a lot from that first bad turn they did. And they're going to be moving to the finish line here now, and they're going to be clocking in at about, I'd say, about 3:45, 3:50, somewhere around there. And once again, a really good performance from the middle schools. Their very first boats, and they're doing really good. They're not really having any problems of sinking or just some problems with turning an oar, sinking, rowing. Not too many typical problems that you would have, but not really with the design of the boat. The designs are great. And the next boat is going to be a Firestone High School boat. It's going to be an aluminum boat made by Jack, Owen, Melvin, Matt, and it's going to be a tinfoil boat. The boat's going to have one person in it, and it's going to need to hold 140 pounds.
The tinfoil boats got a different set of materials than the cardboard boats. They were given 100 feet of window bead, one ball of twine, hot glue, 75 square feet of tinfoil, and a roll of duct tape.
And the first person getting in now, it doesn't look like there's too much room for him to move around. And he gets in, and it looks like he's struggling to get his seat right. And it's a tinfoil canoe, so he's going to be rowing, and he goes down. Oh, wait, no, he's not down. Oh,
no.
he's down.
One of the big problems with tinfoil canoes in general is that the second that you accidentally pop a hole through them, they go under. There is no give or take.
Yeah, they're very, 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 very fragile. That's exactly what happened to him. He went to row, and he actually skimmed the right side of his boat, and he just chopped off some aluminum, and once water gets going in there, there's no stopping it. It's just going to sink. So the first tinfoil is going to be not a success. And the next boat going up is going to be
Bookduel. Bookduel's going to be coming up with their first team. Again, we don't have a list of names for them. The person in charge of the Bookduel GTT program would be Mr. Dave Blankenship.
And their boat looks like it's going to be holding 4 people. Or actually, we'll see how many get in there. And it's a fairly big boat. It's got a big design, big walls. It's got that flap, that classic flap in the front that helps to displace more water so you can hold more weight when you start going down more. And they're grabbing the oars now.
One of the big things the middle school teams seem to be focusing on is more so the fact that their boat will make it rather than efficiency on how fast it makes it. It looks more like they're just centered around the idea of safety, that the boat will actually finish with the bigger square box designs.
And the first 2 people are in, and they're going to start rowing here. And they're going to start, and they're actually turning, so really bad rowing on their part. Really bad syncing up of the rowing. They're going to start turning now.
They actually managed to push themselves off of the wall in a direction they didn't want to go. This is going to hurt their final time.
And they're completely off course. They're not even in the same area code of where they're supposed to be at.
It looks like they're working on fighting the momentum they used to push themselves off the wall at this point, and they're finally trying to get back on course.
And this is definitely a problem with the first-time boaters. They don't know how to row, and they don't know exactly how to turn, so that definitely chips away at their time. They've already clocked in 35 seconds, and they haven't even gotten the first object.
Looks like they're finally starting to get on course here, though. They're getting their first piece.
And they're slowly making it to the first piece, and they're going to grab the first piece. And now they have to make a dash for Marcus for the second piece in the upper left-hand corner.
Looks like
they're having a problem turning again. That's going to be the things that kills these middle schoolers, is the turning process. It's just going to be really tough when you don't have that past experience of that freshman year or building a boat before.
Yeah. It's not many people seem to know how to row a boat, which is very common. And it just hurts you in the long run for this because
and now they're
that's half the problem.
Completely off course. They're going in the middle when they should be going to the upper left-hand corner. But they're finally on track now. They're making a dash for it.
It's like they're almost there. They're at a straight course now, not much farther.
They're going.
And it looks like they made it to their second piece.
Made it their second piece. They're going to try to turn it now. They're going to be going to Mike now.
Surprisingly, they did one of the best turns in this corner, considering that...
Yeah, it's one of the hardest corners.
Yeah.
And these boats are actually really well designed. They're not taking on any water at all. They're just floating, and they're doing really good. So really good job to the middle schoolers for these really solid designs.
Yeah, it looks like they may want to put a little bit more weight in the back, though, because the front seems to be leaning a lot more than it should.
And that'll definitely cause some speed problems.
It's, again, very hard to get these boats to perfectly distribute your weight, though.
And they're going to be making it to the third object. They're going to grab the third object here. And once again, they're going to have a trouble turning.
But it looks like they're going to make it out of the corner. Oh, maybe not. They seem to be stuck on the wall on their back side.
And they've clocked in 228. They definitely want to put some force on the back because their front is definitely taking on a little more water than it should be.
Looks like they may actually be splashing a little bit of water into their front with their paddles, which is definitely going to start to weigh them down after a while.
And they're moving up here.
About to get their final piece if they can make it to the wall.
And it seems like the main problem with middle schoolers today is just the speed, and the turning and the rowing is definitely a problem.
Seems like they started to balance themselves out a bit more. You can see the back is actually in the water now.
Yeah, not so much a problem with the design of the boat. It's just simply the fact that they don't know how to sync up their rowing and whatnot. And they just picked up the fourth piece. They're going to be making a dash to the finish.
Once they finish that up, they'll be good to go, assuming that they make it there, which they don't have much farther to go. And it looks like they're actually starting to turn the wrong way at this point.
You can take a break if you want for the whole thing. I'll take it from there. You can take a break if you want. I'll just handle the whole one race. And they just finished the course in about 3:45, which is not a bad time for first-timers. Once again, really good design on the boat. No problem at all whatsoever with the keeping the boat afloat and stuff. And they're going to be team number 8 going up. No, wait. Team number 10. Team number 10 going up from Firestone POE. That's going to be sophomores. And what they're going to do is it's going to be Erica, Haley, Alex, and Ashley made the boat. The success rate for boats is probably the best I've ever seen. No, only about 2 have sunk. 1 actually cardboard. And they're getting their picture taken now, and they're going to be getting ready to go in the boat here. We're going to have the 11th boat going up. Actually, no, it's the 10th boat going up. It's going to be Erica, Haley, Alex, and Ashley going up. And there's going to be 2 people in the boat, right around 200 pounds. And Haley and Ashley are off. They're much smaller boat, lower sides on the boat. And they're going to be rowing here, and they're going to be coming up to their first object. They're making really good time. Only 10 seconds have gone by, and they've already got their first piece. And a really smooth turn. They're going to be making it to the second piece.
You can see that they made their front more canoe-like to help them tread through the water easier, and they distributed their weight pretty well, so it looks like they're actually using the boat to its fullest at this point. Looks like they actually put a cap over the back just in case it started to go under a little bit, so they didn't take on too much water. Again, they're in the POE Firestone class, which means that they are sophomores this year. It means they've done this 1 year before.
And it's definitely helping out because they're making a lot of smooth turns, and they've picked up the second piece with only 45 seconds on the clock, which is really good time. And they're going to be coming up to their third piece really smoothly, no problems really. Really nice turns.
You can see they're actually having a little bit of trouble with the wall right there because there's just not enough room to maneuver the paddle around.
And you can see just how much 1 year of experience of doing boats really helps. The turns are so much smoother. They've already got a minute down, and they've grabbed the third piece.
All they've got to do now is get to the fourth piece again and then get out.
And they're making a really, really good speed. Really nice rowing. They're making a dash. Having some problems with maneuverability. No, they fixed that pretty fast. And they're moving really fast through the water. About a minute 30. They're about to pick up their fourth piece. This might actually be the fastest boat if we don't have any problems. They grab the fourth piece, and they're going to make their turn really smooth. And they're going to make a dash for the finish.
You can see they definitely move a lot faster when their front is facing the right way and they're not going sideways. Just the ability to tread through, or not tread, but go through the water that much smoother helps a lot. Not as much effort is needed to put in. And it looks like they're going to finish up right now with 1 minute and about 55 seconds, which seems to be about the fastest so far.
Yeah, fastest time. We'll see how long that holds. Next boat going in is going to be
Tabby, Abby, Kate, and Sarah from the freshman Firestone High School class. They're going to have 2 people in. It looks like Kate and Sarah are supposed to get in, and together they should weigh around 250 pounds. Looks like they're going to be setting the boat in pretty soon here.
Once again, really good success rate with the boats. No problem whatsoever with taking on water. Just really smooth race.
We've seen only a few failures, and for the most part, they seem to be mostly experimental designs, so it seems to be pretty good.
And we're just waiting for the all clear to get going once everybody has their piece.
Okay, it looks like we have Kate and Sarah getting into the boat now. Together they should weigh around 250 pounds again, and they are part of the freshman class here at Firestone High School.
And they're going to grab their oars, and they're going to be getting going here.
This is most likely their first race, unless they did this once before at their middle schools, but for the most part, this is going to be most of the freshmen's first races.
And now here we go. They're off, and they're making really good speed on the first thing. They're going to grab the... Oh, wait, no.
Looks like they accidentally turned a little bit there.
Yeah, they're going to make their dash for the first piece, which are having some problems with the turning and rowing, syncing up.
Again, it looks like they may have had manufactured holes in their boxes before they put that one together, since it has saran wrap wrapped around it.
And they grab the first piece in about 30 seconds, which isn't too bad. And they're going to be making their dash for the second piece here. And here they go.
They don't seem to be doing too bad. They're making it relatively smoothly. They're handling their turns decently. And their weight is distributed pretty well.
And they're going to be making their way to the third wreckage.
One thing to note about the way they put their boat together is that they actually put the painted part on the inside of the boat. The point of the paint is to help waterproof the boat. Probably would have been better to put that on the outside, but there may have been some conflicts with that.
And definitely since they're freshmen, they probably didn't know that. One of the disadvantages of building a boat for the first time.
Yeah, it can be a slight oversight when you're not paying attention for the design. And it looks like they're a little bit short of the final piece right now. They need to straighten up their angle or just move down the wall.
And they're going to grab their fourth piece in about 1:33, which is actually pretty fast. If they can hurry there, they can actually make it at the fastest boat. Yeah,
they're actually making relatively good time here, considering the slight mix-up they had in the beginning.
And they're off.
And it's going to be, I don't know, actually. They have about 5 seconds to make it there, and it doesn't look like they're going to make it for the fastest time.
They're having some really hard problems with the turns.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get the turns down.
They almost had it, though. That could have been a close finish.
Oh, this is definitely going to be the second fastest boat, though, that we've had today. And they're going to be finishing up here soon, having some really, really bad problems with turning. They're turning the boat when they don't need to be turning it. And that's going to be a finish in about 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Which is by no means a bad time.
It's a very good time for their first boat and a very good design.
The fact that they made it is simply good enough.
Yeah. I remember my first boat, we didn't make it.
Oh, no, we didn't. We did not make it at all.
Yeah, we kind of just went off to the start and just fell. And looks like the next boat going up is going to be STEM High School. It's going to be Team 1. Once again, we don't have the names for the high schools, or the STEM High School. And they're just waiting to get up in there. And the STEM High School is going to be going in now after a short break. And they're going to be getting in about 2 people. I would estimate around probably about 160 pounds each. 160 pounds total, not each. And their boat's definitely... Oh, and they go down. Their boat was definitely having some problems with the wobbling. They were having some problems distributing their weight right. That's another thing that kills these small boats is their center of gravity. If you don't get that center of gravity right, you're definitely going to have some problems with tipping and maneuvering, and then you just can't row and stuff, and then you're just going to fall all over. And the next boat here is going to be a Litchfield boat. It's going to be Chelsea, Crystal, Emma, and Maddie.
looks like there is also a Melissa in this boat team. All right, it looks like we are putting the boat in now. This boat will have the team from Litchfield Middle School. On the team was Kelsey, Melissa, Crystal, Emma, and Maddie. Looks like they are putting 2 people into the boat. And the first one is in, and she's going to go ahead and try to center herself towards the upper center, I believe. And we have the second member in, and it looks like they're actually going side by side, despite what I said earlier. Or at an angle, maybe? It looks like one in the top left and one in the back right. They're having a little bit of trouble getting off the start. You can see their design again is more box-like. They have what looks to be a point in their front, and it looks like they tried to angle that to give them a better flow through the water. They got their first point right there, and they're heading to their second point now. And looks like they are heading a little bit off of the course at this point. They seem to have a bit of a trouble keeping a straight line. They're heading into the corner now, and they just need to straighten themselves out to get that piece and then make a turn.
And they're going to be making their way to the second piece here, actually. And simple design, really. Same design as the other ones. And they're going to be making a bad turn here, and they're going to be making a way. They're ready to the third. Mostly looks like turns are what's really killing everybody. They're having a tough time turning, syncing up their oar rowing.
Again, this is a middle school team, so they have no previous experience with this, which makes it a little bit harder.
And they're about to grab their third piece for Mike Tedesco here. Seems like they're syncing up their rowing a little bit better, but then again, they're hitting the side of the pool. And they're going to be going sideways to the fourth wreckage to grab. They're making decent time.
And for the Litchfield Middle School GTT program, it's being run by Mr. Jefferson Whited.
He was actually my language arts teacher back in the 7th grade.
He was mine in the 8th.
Well done. And they grab their fourth piece here. My clock says 0-0 because I didn't start it, so they're making really good time according to me, but it's not according to me. So they're going to be making their final dash to the end of it.
Only a little bit further to go, and assuming that they can make it, they'll at least have succeeded in the race.
Yeah, that's what they're doing really good this year. Succeeding really well in just making the course and doing it.
When the races were first started a couple years ago, there was actually a lot more failures than you see now, but over time, I guess people have just learned that it's easier or better methods to do that.
And they're going to finish with a pretty solid time, I believe. Pretty fast, nice turning.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, especially for a first-year attempt.
And the next boat that's going to be going in is
the National Inventor Hall of Fame Middle School. This will be their second team going into the boat. Again, we don't have names for them.
Hopefully they can learn something from Team 1 that went with their rowing and their turning abilities. They can make better uses of their turns.
The first team, I believe, also had a problem with their walls being high, so we'll see if we see a similarity in this.
Okay, and we're going to be getting started here, and we're going to start the timer here.
This is another Firestone High School team. Actually, no, it is not. What happened to the list?
Oh, it's actually going to be a... wait a minute. No, it was the National Inventors Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And they've got 4 people in their boat. A lot of power, but they're going to need to sync up their rowing if they're going to want to go in a straight fashion with a nice, speedy, smooth ride.
You also notice they don't seem to have the same problem that the other National Inventor Hall of Fame boat had, and that is that the walls were too high in that one. This one, they seem to be enough to allow them to maneuver their arms above the walls and get leverage on the paddles.
They're going to be making a straight dash to the second piece to grab.
They're actually making pretty good speed. It's just I don't know how hard it's going to be for them to turn in a boat of that length, and it looks like their walls are actually starting to cave in from the pressure of the water on the outside and their weight on the inside, the way it's distributed.
And also another thing to note is penalty for not grabbing all of the pieces of wreckage. If you miss one piece of wreckage, you are added 15 seconds to your time. That's just in case like one of the pieces fall off or anything. They can still have a eligible time. It's just a 15-second penalty.
Looks like they're not making horrible time at this point. They're looking at about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And they're going to make a straight dash to the final piece right here, and then after that they're home free.
And they're doing some really good turns here, and some really good rowing syncing up. They're doing some really good rowing syncing up, that's all I have to say.
You can see they're doing a lot better on the straightaways because they can just get the power behind it and move in a straight line.
And they're going to grab their fourth piece, and they're going to make a run for the finish. Or the start. Start is the finish, so they're going to make a run for the finish.
It's a multitasking start.
Multitasking start.
You can see that they are going in strong for the final length of the course here. It looks like they're going to make it just fine. Their back is actually starting to go under, though, as I'm saying that.
They're actually... Yeah, they're going to make it, but they're definitely... If that course is a little bit longer, they definitely would have had some problems.
Yep.
They're going to finish in about 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is a pretty respectable time, judging that this is their first ever boat race. Really good time, actually. And now the next one up is going to be Firestone High School DE. It's going to be Harry, Todd, Andrew, and Nathan from Firestone High School. They're all juniors, and they're going to be 3 people in the boat, approximately 450 pounds in the boat. That's a lot of weight.
Especially for a tinfoil boat, which they're about to go in. Again, this boat, if you pop a slight hole in it, which is very easy to do, it's going to go straight down.
It's just going to go down like breakfast after you're hungry.
It's going to be a Titanic.
Yeah, it's just going to go down like the Titanic. And they're getting ready to place their tinfoil in there now. They're getting their picture taken.
And they're now putting the Firestone High School DE boat into the pool. Again, this is going to have Harry, Todd, Andrew, and Nathan in the tinfoil boat. There's actually only 3 of them going to be going in the boat.
450 pounds, that's a lot of weight for a tinfoil. But then again, it is a big tinfoil boat, so it should be able to hold it if they distribute their weight good enough. And they're going in now.
Another problem with putting this many people into... Oh, it looks like all 4 of them are going in the boat, actually. But another problem with putting this many people in the boat is that it's a lot easier for you to make a mistake and accidentally hit the paddle against the side of the boat or run it into a wall and get any sort of hole in there.
And they've all got their paddles, and they're going to start going.
It looks like they are having a bit of trouble getting the actual first piece. Actually, they're turning around just fine. I think they were just getting a push off the edge to start.
And it doesn't look like they're doing too hot. They're definitely lower on the backside, a lot more than they'd want to be.
And it looks like they were actually
They're going to grab the first piece here.
So they threw that into the water off the start.
So they're going to be making a straight dash for the second piece. He's actually complaining about the course during the race.
Later on, towards the end of these races, you'll see Andrew in the front left there go into an actual submarine that is an experimental attempt this year at the boat races.
And they're turning. They're not really going to grab the the second piece, if they do that. And they're actually putting it into reverse and backing it up.
You can see their walls are actually starting to cave in from the pressure.
So they're definitely going to have some problems with that throughout the race. And he's going to try to grab it with his paddle because they can't seem to get close enough. Andrew reaches out with the paddle, grabs it, and he gets the piece in there. And they're going to be off to the third piece.
That counts as a point for them.
Yeah, that counts as a point. It's completely fair game.
And one of the main problems one of the main reasons that they're actually probably doing that is to avoid hitting the wall with their boat because they know that one hit could bring the whole boat down.
And
they're approaching. I don't know if they're having trouble approaching the walls or they might actually just be approaching them very carefully so that they can safely get through the course.
And they're backing it up. That's actually a really special strategy. I've never really seen that strategy before, backing it up instead of going head first into the area.
It looks as if they're trying to play it extremely safe as not to get a hole in their boat. And
they drop it, but they get it back.
Oh, they got it.
Up.
They got the piece that was floating in the water.
That's another thing about these the pieces. They actually float, so if you do drop them, you can pick them up. And they will not receive the penalty of the 15 seconds off that because they do have the piece in their boat. And they're going to be making a dash for their final piece. And they've already used about 2 minutes, but this is actually pretty respectable time for 4 people in the boat, 4 people in an aluminum boat.
The aluminum boats you just have to be a lot more careful with because, like I've said many times now, you get one accidental hole in there and you're going under.
And their backside is definitely a lot lower than they need it to be, and they're definitely probably going to finish. They're making their way there.
You can see the right side actually started standing up to, I think, trying to attempt to put more pressure on the right-hand side.
That's going to be the first tinfoil boat to actually make it today. And it makes
they're
it good.
out.
And they're going to sink it on purpose, it seems.
Yep, it looks like at least one of them went in.
And
it looks like it's actually still floating, though.
One's actually jumped, and it's still floating after all that center of gravity being wasted. And Andrew jumps in.
And we're good.
It's kind of a celebration of the success. Todd jumps in, and I think Harry's probably about to jump in too.
Yes, that is
correct.
correct.
And there, everybody jumped in. What do you know?
You can see there was a lot of water in there. It looks like there actually aren't any holes.
And the first tinfoil to actually make it.
All right, it looks like this is a boat from Roswell Kent Middle School. This is their third team to go into the water. Looks as if they're putting two into the boat, one in the front and one in the back on a more narrow boat, which again is going to make it a little, they're actually, only two people. It's going to make it a little bit harder to turn, but it shouldn't affect too much. You can see they have a point in the front of their boat to help them tread through the water easier.
And they're going to be making their way to the first piece. Actually took them about 15, 20 seconds to actually get going and starting their rowing, syncing up. And they're making their way to their first piece. And they're grabbing the first piece.
And sticking it into their boat, which is one down and 3 to go.
And it seems like Sam Allred and David Creekbaum, which are supposed to be taking boats that have failed and supposed to be making sure they don't deteriorate in the water and, just create a mess for the pool. They're actually having a pretty boring time of it because there's a high success rate with the boats that are finishing. So that's always good to hear, but Sam would probably disagree with me. He probably wants to see boats sink so he can dive down.
A lot of trouble getting off that edge. Actually, I don't know if they know the course. It looks like we're having people point them into the right direction.
And seems like the problem they're having is the high walls. They're definitely having some difficulty with the rowing here. And they're definitely not making good time, minute 25, but then again, this is their first boat, so what are you going to do?
Again, the GTT teacher in charge of the Roswell Kent team is Miss Connie Duff.
And they're making their way to the second piece. And it took about a minute 45. And they got their second piece here, and they're going to have to make a 180 turn to get around to get the third piece and then make a dash for the finish. Their boat's actually shaped in the shape of an arrow. It's actually a pretty standard design most people would use.
You see a lot of either arrows in the front, or you see a lot of fronts flipped up, which makes it, the reason for that is that it's relatively easy to make sure that the boat is waterproofed while still giving you some way to help go through the water.
And they're going to be making their way to the third piece. It's already been 2:25, so they won't be breaking any world records, but it looks like they might finish.
Again, it is their first attempt, so you can expect to have some problems, but practice makes perfect.
And they're making their way to the final piece to grab. A thing to note from this boat would be to build walls appropriate to your height. If you're a short person, then you definitely want to build shorter walls so it's easier to row. If you're a tall person, you want to build the walls as tall as possible without really conflicting with your rowing ability.
Yeah, that's one thing you need to keep in mind when worrying about the displacement that the boat is going to need. You're going to need to make the boat very large with short walls, or you can make it a bit smaller with taller walls if you like. Normally, it's a better idea to make a wider boat with shorter walls, but in this case, it seems they have gone with the opposite design.
And they definitely have some problem with rowing, and they've already wasted 3 minutes and 18 seconds. So the thing to learn from here is definitely rowing. You need to know how to row. You need to sync up rowing with your partner.
Looks like their boat is actually starting to peel in the back too, which could be trouble for them if they were in the water longer.
And they're actually putting in reverse. No, never mind. They're turning around.
Reverse seems to be a common theme this year, though.
Because people can't keep their boats straight.
It's a bit trouble.
And now they're rowing forward. They're going straight up. Really, really slowly. Really having some problems with the rowing.
This year the Turtle is not going to win the race.
Yeah. Sloan said he does not win this race at all.
But they did get all the pieces, and it looks like they are going to make it to the finish line, so that's something. And they're clocking in at about 4 minutes and 10 seconds for their final time.
It's going to be the longest time.
One of the longest.
Okay, this is going to be the 18th boat to go here. It's going to be from the
Bookdale Middle School, it looks like.
Bookdale Middle School, and they're going to have 2 people in their boat. They're going to be left and right. It seems like they have some unnecessary weight on their boat, kind of like some designs on the back, and they have a unicorn horn of what it's supposed to be on the front. And I'm pretty sure that doesn't add anything to the boat.
It looks like they actually attempted to make fins on the back that are falling off now, which are definitely not doing anything for them.
And they're going to grab the first piece here in, I would say, about 20 seconds. Not too bad.
Again, the person in charge of the Bookdale GTT program would be Mr. Dave Blankenship. And the common set of materials for all the middle schools and high schools are the same at 1 cardboard box, 60 to 65 yards of duct tape, 8 ounces of glue, and if there were manufactured holes in the boxes when they received them, they were given 1 roll of saran wrap.
And also a big thank you to Bill Tossev. Bill Tossev, he was the original source of the cardboard supplies and current consultant of the boat races. So a huge thank you to him. This obviously wouldn't be possible without him to give us all that cardboard to make all these boats.
And 2 more sponsors that were in charge of helping with the making the boat races happen were the Connecticut Water Filters and River Valley Paper Mill.
Without their help, none of this would have been possible. We wouldn't have boat races.
And as we're saying that, the team now is actually grabbing their second piece and making their way to their third on the SS Duck.
And they're going to be making their way to the third piece. Mike's just kind of chilling over there. They're taking their sweet time getting to him. It's been about a minute 30.
They're not hugging the wall too close, though, so they seem to be able to use their paddles freely, and except for, as I say that, they now are way too close to the wall.
They're making a good time here.
Yeah.
And they're kind of having some problems straightening out.
The fin, they seem to be having a lot of trouble maneuvering around. He actually just hit himself with it, it looks like, trying to get it out of the way. Definitely a poor design part, probably now looking back on that.
And they're going to be moving to the 4th and final piece to grab, and then they're going to be making a run to the start, finish, whatever you want to call it.
Looking back on their design, the 2 unicorn horns out in front, now that I know the boat is called the SS Duck, is probably an attempt at a duckbill.
A duckbill.
Oh, and the wings now probably are actually duck wings. Now that I think about it, that makes a bit of sense.
That makes a lot more sense. The boat is definitely not moving like a duck or maneuvering like a duck at all. They've spent about $250 on the course so far, and they just grabbed their 4th piece, and they're going to be making a run for it on the final start, finish, whatever you want to call it. And the SS Duck is definitely a good first attempt on for first-timers. Pretty good time, pretty decent maneuvering, no water taking. Like I said before, this is a really, really good success rate on the boats.
We haven't seen this many go through in a while.
Actually, I've never seen it.
Probably not.
And that was a couple while ago. That was actually the first tinfoil I've ever seen finish.
Yeah, that's very true.
Tinfoils are definitely harder to finish, and that one's going to finish at about 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty respectable time for their first time. And the next boat going in is going to be Firestone High School IED, which is going to be a sophomore class. It's going to be Joey, Alex, Jack, and Ryan. All 4 people going in that boat. They're going to be holding 500 pounds, a lot of weight. That's about 500 pounds. And they're making their way now. Oh, and they're having some problem with stability. They're definitely rocking back and forth. And they might just not make it. And their right side is tilting, left side is tilting. They're moving all over the place. And they're trying to paddle, but definitely, again, with all that tilting, it's going to be a problem. They're going down a little bit. They're having some problems with the center of gravity. They're moving all over the place. And they're going to be making a dash. They just grabbed the first piece. They're going to be making a dash for the second. And he just jumps out. I think they just gave up on the boat. They didn't seem like they were sinking, but I don't know. They just jumped out. Anyway, Sam Allred and David Creekbaum are going to grab the boat and make sure nobody drowns. And That's going to be that boat. That's going to be the 20th boat. That's actually going to be the second boat, I think, that has actually failed.
I think it's actually the third or the fourth.
Well, counting
the
cardboard,
tinfoils.
I think.
Yeah,
Not counting
okay.
the tinfoil.
Seems about right.
So, yeah, I don't really think that boat had to fail. I think they just jumped out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. A little random.
But anyway, we're moving right along, and we're going to be going on to the 21st boat. It's going to be Adora, Christina, Cecilia. Adora and Christina are going to be Adora and Cecilia are going to be going in the boat. They're going to be 2 people, 250 pounds.
And here it looks like we have the 21st boat going in. This is going to have Adora, Christina, and Cecilia in it. There's going to be supposedly putting 2 people in it, which together should weigh around 250 pounds. They are in the freshman course for Firestone High School, the Intro to Engineering and Design. This is going to be their first boat they've made, so a little bit of experience is not going to be behind them. They're making their way to the first piece right now. They're moving pretty fast off the start, which is a good thing to see.
And they're going to grab the first piece here in about, I'd say, 20 seconds. And they're making a really good turn, and they're going to be making a straight dash to the second piece.
Again, this seems to be another team that didn't think to put the painted part of their boat facing the outside to help waterproof it, which is something that seems to be prevalent in people who haven't had a whole lot of experience.
Well, definitely, I think it doesn't matter because they pretty much wrap their entire thing in entire boat in aluminum, and
tinfoil or saran
not
wrap.
aluminum, saran wrap.
Yeah,
I can't speak. But anyway, they just grabbed their second piece. They're going to be making their way to the third piece.
It seems like they actually have their weight distributed pretty fairly among the boat, and it floats relatively even.
Yeah, if I had to take a guess, they're probably the same weight, which is definitely a good idea when you're thinking about who to put in the boat. Equal weights will definitely work better than different weights on top. I mean, in the front and back. That'll just mess up your boat.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to balance things out when you got to work with weird numbers.
And they're going to make a dash for their fourth piece. And they're making it now. And they're actually making some pretty decent time, about minute 30 so far in the fourth piece. If they can actually grab this piece and make the turn really smoothly, they can actually have the fastest time.
They're actually using the oars very well for the first
And they're
attempt
making
at,
their
doing
turn,
this.
and their turn is really smooth, and now they just need to head for the finish line. They've got about 15 seconds for the highest time. And they're going, and they might actually make it.
It's going to be very close. We don't have a definitive time here, but it looks like it could either be the fastest time or right around there.
Yeah, that's definitely probably the fastest time or really close. And that was a really good job by the freshmen. Really solid design and really fast and good maneuvering.
You can see that they tried to take into the fact that it would have to glide through water, and they used a point to tip on the boat.
Very good design and very well played or well done race.
All right, this is going to be the first faculty boat. It's going to have the STEM high school principals, which is going to include the Larry Johnson, who is the principal of the STEM high school, and Beth Bugner, who is a PBL specialist at the STEM high school. Their boat was probably made by...
They're going down.
Yeah,
they didn't get very
did
far.
not go far at all.
And I think their boat was actually designed by STEM middle school students, so that might explain the lack of experience when designing the boat. The walls were definitely lower than they should have been. They definitely should have been a lot higher because with that much weight in the boat, it definitely goes down a little bit more.
You can also see it didn't look too sturdy off the front, and it started shaking a little bit, which can be a problem if the walls aren't properly secured.
So yeah, that's going to be, I think, our fourth failed boat, or
somewhere around there.
Yeah, probably our fourth failed cardboard boat, which is definitely not too bad, judging that we've had
almost
about
20 go now.
Yeah, so that's a really good success rate of boats.
Normally you're looking at about a 50-50 split, and this seems to be a lot higher than that.
And looks like we're going to get right into the next boat here. It's going to be
the female adults from Firestone High School, which is going to include
the swim teacher, Miss Harrison, and one of the language arts teachers, Miss Verdo.
You actually have that backward. The swim coach is Cindy Verdo, and the Firestone IB coordinator is Judy Harrison.
Okay, well, you can tell I'm not in the IB program or the swim team.
Well, yep, that's apparent, apparently.
Yeah, and I can't swim either, so if you threw me in the boat, I'd probably die. But anyway, let's talk about the actual race.
This boat was designed by the seniors at in the engineering program.
The boat was actually made by Alex Schmidt, who is a senior in Project Lead the Way. And they're rowing here, and they're going to be making their way to the first thing. They're going really fast.
You can see they've done this for quite a few years now, and they have it sort of down pat.
They've actually been doing this ever since we started the boat races, which I think was probably about 65 years ago. I might be wrong, but they're making really good time. It's only been 20 seconds, so they've already got the first piece, and they're running to the second, actually rowing to the second. And the rowing is really in sync.
A lot of coordination.
And the boat's really sturdy, doing really good. And they're going to grab the second piece, and they're going to be moving.
You can notice the back actually took in a little water because it's a little bit lower than the walls, which may cause some problems, but it looks like they're dealing with it quite well.
And they're still flying really fast through those turns and things, and they're actually at 45 seconds, and they've got the third piece, and they're making it with
one more.
Yeah, and this could definitely be the fastest time if they don't have any mess ups.
Yeah, the main problem that I think they're dealing with is the back taking in too much water and maybe going under, but it looks like they're doing a lot better with that now.
And they're just flying through the straightaway. They're going to pick up their fourth piece now with about 1:07 on the clock, and this is definitely going to be the fastest time if they don't go under. And they're really fast on the straightaways, probably the fastest I've ever seen today. And they're just going to bolt there.
Looks like they're going to finish at about 1:20 or 1:25 seconds.
And they finish at 1:22 seconds, which is the best time we've ever had so far. And that's probably the best time I've ever seen so far. Really fast on the straightaways. Really good.
Yeah, the straightaways are really where you need to take advantage of the race.
And they definitely did that. And they definitely were really smooth on the turns. So that's it. That'll be definitely the time to beat for the principals and adult division of the boat races. Next, it looks like we're going to have Larry Petrie, former principal of Firestone High School, and we're going to have Mr. Savita, which I believe he's a language arts teacher.
That is not correct. He is a history teacher.
Okay, he's a history teacher. Well, you can tell I do not take history with Savita. But anyway, they're going to be the second adult division, third adult
team to go up so far.
Team to go up so far. That's the words I'm looking for. And they're getting their picture taken now. And
again, this boat was made by the seniors of the engineering program. This one was made by Mike Tedesco and Marcus Anderson.
And looks like they're just about getting ready to get in there. And they're going to go in now. That's going to be Larry Petrie, a former principal, and Mr. Savita, history teacher. And they're getting in now. Petrie's looking to go in the back, and Mr. Savita is in the front. And they're just positioning themselves right, getting on their knees, and they're off.
And again, this is another faculty team that has done this for a couple amount of years now, so they should have a bit of experience working together.
And actually, the people helping them get straight into the boat is actually Corey Gilmatine and Imani Scott. They help keep the boat steady while the faculty members or anybody gets in the boat, just so it doesn't tip or whatever. And they're making their way to the second piece, and they're making 23 seconds, which is actually faster than the female faculty. And they're going to grab it here, and they're going to have to make a turn, and they're putting it in reverse, and then they're going to bolt it. And
yeah, you can see that they're working pretty well together. They've done this for a couple years now.
The name of the boat. What is the name?
And the faculty boats this year from Firestone High School were all named after Little Mermaid characters. This one would be Ursula, and the one prior to this was, I believe, Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian Loftus. And someone is telling me to hold something for them, so I guess I'm holding stuff now too. But anyway, Lady Luck is moving, and they're running. They're making really good time. They're at about 1:13, which is actually going to beat the female faculty time if they can get it. And
looks like
that's
they're finishing
a
at 1:20, which is 2 seconds faster than the female faculty.
So Mr. Zavita and Larry Petrie take it for the fastest adult division to vote.
Alrighty then, and this boat, it looks like, is going to be from the STEM High School. This is going to be the third team that they have in the race. Looks like they put 2 people in it, one in the front and one in the back. This is going to be our 25th boat, it looks like. They're heading off to their first thing right now, and this actually looks like it may be the faculty from STEM High School.
And they're going to be moving, and they picked up their first block here, and they're going to be making their way to the second block. And they're running about 31 seconds, and they're going to be making it pretty good speed and rowing. And this is going to be the 25th boat. This boat's name is going to be...
Oh, this is the mermaid-themed boat, so it's Ariel, of course.
Yeah, I have to turn to Kalen for the names of the characters because I don't watch movies. But besides the point, anyway, they're going to grab the third piece here, and they're making actually a pretty solid time, a minute right now. And they're going to be making their way to the fourth piece. And this straightaway is where they really need to make that time. You need to do really fast rowing and really synced up.
Looking at the list now, this may actually be the Miller South Principals, but I'm not sure about that.
And they're going to be going, and they're going to pick up the fourth piece here now, and that's about a minute 27, I'd say. So
they're a little bit behind the other faculty, but they're not doing bad by any means.
And they're going and going. They're kind of doing slow on the straightaway where they really should be like clocking in time, making up for those bad turns and stuff. So they're not going as fast as they should be.
The boat that they're in was actually designed by myself and Rachel Robertson and Ben Wilson.
And they finish with about a minute 37 on the clock, which is a very respectable time for the adult division. It seems that the adults have a better concept of rowing in sync and teamwork and turning.
This is going to be the STEM High School. This is their third team.
This is going to be the 26th boat.
Again, the person in charge of the STEM High School would be their technology teacher, Bill Metcalf, who was a assistant teacher at Firestone last year at the engineering program.
He actually taught IED and POE, the freshman and sophomore classes. A really good teacher, and he definitely experienced boats last year, and I wonder what he told his students about making the boats this year, but it doesn't look like they made a big enough wall, and it's definitely really not sturdy at all. So
yeah, you can see it caving in towards the back right there. I'm not sure how that's going to affect them.
Definitely have a lot of weight in their boat, so I don't know how that's going to actually work.
Yeah, looking at it now, this is actually a freshman boat from Firestone.
And no, it's not.
Is it not?
No, it's Dalton, and he was from STEM, and then he didn't have anyone else. And they actually do fall. And Sam and David are going to get on getting that boat.
The rescue crew here?
Yeah, and the boat actually was poor design because of the back and the sturdiness of the sides, which actually caused it to fail.
It looks like the walls just couldn't quite hold it up.
And looks like we're going to have a raft somewhat is going to be the next boat.
Looks like it was an attempt on a pontoon, a bit of an experimental design.
There's actually a lot of experimental designs. This would be one of them, and then we're going to have a submarine surfboard
towards the end of the races.
Towards the end of the races this year.
And those are both designed by Firestone High School juniors.
And they're just pulling the boat out now. You can just see it's just flooded with water.
Yeah, cardboard, if it gets too wet, it definitely gets very heavy and hard to get out of the water.
And they're just going to carry that off. And the raft is actually going to be in the water now, and it looks like
they may have a bit of trouble actually getting on it to start. They're having an extra person attempt to hold it while they manage to maneuver themselves on it. Looks like he's choosing to use a canoe paddle for this in an attempt to paddle by himself.
And which is definitely going to be a problem because he doesn't have any walls, and this is definitely going to be a problem because he can't really lean on anything. If he falls or tilts too much, he'll definitely fall off. He gets a cheer from the crowd just because of his risky design.
Again, this is a STEM high school boat. I think this is their final one. This is the Team 4 boat.
And he's not really going for speed. I think he's just going for making it work.
I think it's the challenge of the boat itself.
Yeah,
you can see stability is going to be a big issue for him.
Yeah, and it's taking some water in the back.
It looks like he may want to lean forward a bit or even climb up if that's at all possible for him.
And with the lack of walls, he's definitely going to have a problem with keeping the pieces together because they could fall off, and that's a penalty of 15 seconds off the official time.
The crowd is now telling him to lean forward, but it looks like the cardboard is actually starting to soak up water, and that's going to cause it to weigh more and go under a lot faster.
Exactly.
It looks like he's actually going down.
And he's going to go down.
Now. Might as well go down with pride.
And he's going to go down with his boat by staying with it, and he falls off.
And you can see Sam and David are here to rescue the wreckage.
Yep.
Alrighty, it looks like we have a Firestone High School freshman team going up here with the IED class. In it, there's going to be Jake, M, Aaron, Leo, and JoJo. It looks like there should be around 500 pounds in it in total, which is going to be quite a bit of weight they're going to have to deal with. But it looks like they went with a very stable box design. Again, they're going to have to worry about how high the walls are, though, to get leverage. And it looks like they're getting started.
And they're off, and they're going to be making their way to the first piece. Pretty fast, actually, with all that weight.
Good time.
And they're going to grab that first piece in 8 seconds. That's really fast. And they're going to be making their way to the second piece here. They're doing really good on the turn and the straightaway.
They just got to line themselves up correctly now.
And they're
they
going
are
down.
going down. That was a quick run.
I think what happened was the right side actually, the left side actually caved in on them a little bit. And then it just became too weak to hold them, and it just went down from there.
And they're actually causing a bit of a trouble right now, trying to get the boat out of the water.
They're actually still trying to stay on it, but they're down.
Yeah, they are out for the count. And here we have the first team of board members going to the boat. We have Jason Haas, who is the president and board of education, and we have Miss Lisa Mansfield, who is the vice president. They're getting off to a start right here. And a bit of a reach to get the first piece, but they're doing all right.
And you can see one is wearing a lobster hat, and the other one is wearing, I think, a piranha or a fish hat. And that's kind of fit the theme of boats and water and whatnot. And their boat's name, I think, is Triton.
That is correct. You'll see him on the other side if you ever get a chance. And there'll be a Triton and the father from The Little Mermaid.
And they're going to grab the first piece here and in about 30 seconds, so not a bad time.
No, not at all.
They're going to spin, and you can see the picture of Triton that was, I think, drawn by Morgan Schroeder.
Actually, that was drawn by Chloe Camino, but nice guess.
Well then. Okay, then. So I don't know who artists are either. So anyway, they're going to the third piece here, making pretty decent time, 45 seconds. Pretty respectable. And they're going to be going to the fourth piece right after they grab the third, and they're making their turn pretty smoothly. They're going to go straight ahead.
And this is the main straightaway they want to try and take advantage of to gain some speed and momentum across the course. And it looks like they're doing pretty well at that. They're talking pretty well and getting the paddle down.
Their rowing is pretty good, unstable. And so now they're going to grab the fourth piece here. And that's about 1:30, and they're going to make a shot for the end, or the start, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to officially rule at the start. They're going for the start.
The start is the end.
And they're getting a little cheer from the crowd as they're going.
And again, this boat was designed by the seniors Chloe Camino and Alex Schmidt.
And they're going to make it in about, I'd say, 2 minutes, which is a pretty respectable time. This is their first time in boats. But definitely not their last.
All right, and up here we have a Firestone High School freshman group, it looks like, including Brian, Jake, Nick, and Andrew. This is going to be their first year attempting the boat. Together, there's going to be all 4 of them in the boat, and it should weigh somewhere around 450 pounds.
And it looks like they actually drew fake six-packs and pecs on them.
Oh, that's...
with black marker, which is definitely a first for me. Yeah.
It's unique. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a first.
They also seem to have a Cheerios box on the back of their boat.
Which is definitely a shout-out to their co-teacher, Mr. Hendricks. He definitely eats a lot of Cheerios during class. He manages cholesterol, and they're zooming off to the first one.
They are.
They're going to grab the first one in 5 seconds.
On the wall almost, but it looks like they cleaned up very well, and they're using all the power they can to get to those
And their fake six-packs are definitely helping them get their speed going.
Definitely a motivator, I would say.
Definitely a motivator. And he has some fake hair on his chest.
I see that. That's
definitely hilarious. But,
oh, yes.
And
the amount of artistic design that went into those.
They're zooming, and they get the fourth piece, and they're trying to turn, and their Cheerio is just... The Cheerio box, I don't even know if that's doing anything. It's just...
I highly doubt it.
Kind of just hanging out there on the back. And they're going to make they grab the third piece here. They're going to make a turn and go to the fourth piece. And
again, you can notice with the freshman boats, they seem to be putting the painted part of the cardboard on the inside of their boat, which is, again, a bit weird because that is meant to waterproof the outside of the boat.
they're going to grab their fourth piece here. And they're actually making pretty good time. But they're going to push off to the side here. They're going to make their turn. Then they're going to make a straight dash for the end. And Hendricks is going berserk, telling him to go. And they're getting a cheer from the crowd.
Base coach right here. He is telling them to go.
Hendricks is,
and they made some really good time on that.
And they're actually making some really good time. They're a minute and 14 from our calculation.
Which seems to be faster than even the faculty boats at this point.
Really solid
Hendricks
time.
Is very pumped about that.
Hendricks is going at it. I think it might be the Cheerio box.
It might be. That could have been their good luck charm. All right, it looks like we have our second team of board members up here. We have a Mr. Miller and a Mr. Bravo. And together they are the members of the Board of Education. They are going to be our 31st boat, and this is going to be Flounder of the Little Mermaid-themed boats. They seem to be going pretty well. Again, this boat was made by Alex Schmidt and Chloe Camino. The Flounder on the side, I believe, was drawn by Rachel Robertson.
And they're going to be making their way to the second piece that they need to pick up. They're just zooming.
They are, and you can see again they have the board member hats, the fish it looks like, and the crab.
They are just zooming. They're on steroids.
I would not say that, but they are going very fast.
And their boat is starting to have some problems. It's starting to crumple in the middle from the left side. They might not make it to the entire race.
It actually looks like it may be splitting in the middle, and the duct tape is not able to keep the weight together. But we'll see how that holds out.
And they get the third piece, and they're going to make their turn really sharp and really clean. And they're going to be making their way to the fourth piece here. And, they're just zooming.
They are using the power of that straightaway to get that
They're on those
speed.
steroids. And they're going.
And it looks like the back is actually going under a little bit at some points, or at least getting water pushed into it.
And they grab the fourth piece. Rachel Robinson, they actually drew the Flounder, just handed them the fourth piece, and they're going to be making it to the start, which we agreed upon is the start.
And it looks like they're going to make it.
The other faculty members cheering them on, and they're having some problems.
They're a little too close to the wall, it looks like, having trouble maneuvering the canoe.
And it definitely slowed them down.
They are actually going under in the front right now as they are finishing, and it looks like that counts.
And that technically counts as a finish, even though they went under as soon as they went in.
It's a very
good run by them. Pretty fast.
All right, this is a Firestone High School DE boat, which is going to contain juniors in it. Josh, Jabri, Mike, and KJ.
Okay, it's going to be a tinfoil boat. Looks like Mike and KJ are going in the boat. I think his first name's Kevin.
It is.
All right, we'll just call him Kevin.
and it's going to weigh about 450 pounds, both of them in there.
And they're already leaning really bad, and I think they're going down. They're not going to make it.
And
he brings it down.
Ripped a hole in the side of that boat.
Are
they still going? They are not
Mike
still going.
Mike is gone.
That is all bad.
And David jumps in the pool to make sure it doesn't sink down.
Future lifeguard right there.
Future lifeguard, yes he is.
All right, up here we have a Firestone High School aerospace boat. It's made by David, Carlos, Chris, and Jake, which is a mix of juniors and seniors, I believe. It's made out of tinfoil, and it's a very experimental design in the fact that it's shaped like a UFO. It's supposedly supposed to be able to hold around 4 people at around 600 pounds total.
And we're actually going to call it a USO, Unidentified Submerged Object, simply because it has that UFO kind of appeal. And they're actually only put 2 people in the boat. I figured they said 400 pounds would be too much to hold.
Yeah, they probably were going off how much it went down each time a person entered. And it looks like they're making decent speed to the first piece here.
And they're going to grab that, and he grabs it.
Yep.
And he's going to go off to the second piece.
The stability on the boat seems to be pretty good. The main problem I think they're having is the fact that there's no real front, back, or side to it, so it sort of just likes to spin.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a problem with speed.
Yeah, they have to be very well coordinated in how they paddle.
And then they're going to grab this second piece. And they're going to grab it. They're going to turn their boat. This is actually the 33. This is number 33, the boat. And they're actually putting it in reverse and going back on the course, and then they're going to head over to Mike.
Again, this is a tinfoil boat, so they do have to be pretty careful about hitting walls and accidentally hitting their own boat with their paddle if they're not too careless.
Yeah, you definitely have to be more delicate with the boats, because if you hit them on the side there, it's just going to be a huge problem.
It
Mike
looks like,
throws the piece in, and they're going to turn around and head for Rachel. This is the fourth piece.
and once they get this piece, all they got to do is head back to the start/finish and
We agreed it was
finish
the
up the race.
start. It's the start. We
It's a
agree.
little bit of everything.
So they're going to head back. Well, they're actually jamming up in the middle of that, having some problems with the rowing.
Yeah, they're not taking advantage of the straightaway and trying to go full speed.
But this is going to be a pretty good tinfoil. It's going to be the second tinfoil to actually make it all the way.
Again, a
If
very
they can get it.
unique experimental design, but it seems to have worked out for them in the stability department.
And they're going to grab the last piece here from Rachel, and David grabs it, and they're going to push themselves off the side and go to the start. Once again. And get a big cheer from the crowd with their tinfoil experimental boat. And they're going.
And it looks like they are about to finish right now.
Pretty respectable time for a tinfoil experimental design. Very respectable time. And we're going to be going here, and this is going to be the 34th boat. It was made by Cecilia, Trenton, Ryan, and wow, I didn't even get the names off and they already fell. So that boat is done. Probably the worst cardboard boat I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, that's it. I didn't even get to finish the names, but that's that. We're going to be moving on to the 35th boat. And this is actually going to be the submarine, and the person going to be in this is Andrew. He's actually fully insulated in the submarine. He's completely enclosed in there. He has an air valve in there, and he's actually speaking to everyone in there. Speaking to everyone, make sure he's ready to go. And he's about to submerge the submarine in there. And they're putting him in now. They've got 4 people actually holding him up. And the submarine is actually floating, so it's not actually a submarine. But I think they're going to try to put it down. And they're talking to him through the air hole. And I don't know exactly what they're saying, but it's not a submarine yet, so they're going to try to submerge it, I think, a little bit. And he's talking to him, making sure that everything's okay. And I think they're going to try to submerge the boat now. As you can see, they're taking a lot of safety precautions simply because it could be a problem. So they're all around there grabbing the boat just in case he does go down. Because he is enclosed in there, he can't get out. And I don't know exactly what the holdup is. And they look like they're just trying to decide whether or not he wants to take the thing down or not. And we're just going to see if he actually does get it down.
I think they may be checking to make sure there's no actual leaks in the thing right now. Since
Yeah,
they can't tell.
That'd actually be a good idea. And we're just going to wait for them to start sinking it. And we're waiting.
They need to take a lot of safety precautions to make sure nothing actually happens. Because
Yeah.
once he goes under, that is going to weigh a lot with all these soaked cardboard.
And I'm not sure exactly what they're doing now. They might just be preparing to take him under, or I don't even know if they're going to take him under at this point. And this boat is not actually doing the race. It's just kind of doing it.
More so an experiment
Yeah,
than
just
anything
for the
else.
experiment. It's not actually doing the course. Same with the surfboard that will be coming up a little bit later. And I think they're pulling it down a little bit, but I don't know exactly what they're doing.
Again, they need to be very careful, make sure there's no accidentally placed holes in the boat to make sure it doesn't fill up and then he goes under.
Goes under with no oxygen.
That would be bad. The tube on top is to actually make sure that he has enough oxygen in case he has to stay under for a while and so that they can communicate with him easier. If I'm correct, I think he actually has a walkie-talkie in him.
And Nathan is actually getting on top of the boat to try to sink it, and I think it's actually caving in on him a little bit. It's not exactly being a submarine.
One of the main problems they had when building this was that they had to make it big enough that he could fit inside, but they had to also make it way enough that he would go under slightly.
Yeah, but right now the problem is it's just displacing too much water, and it's just not going to go down. And I think he's just going to kind of hang out there until it goes down, or if it goes down.
One of the main things they have to keep in mind is that they only have so long to do this. They do have a limit until the cardboard gets too soggy and will just cave in on itself.
And they're definitely taking way too long to get him down there.
I think they may just be keeping him above the water in an enclosed container.
Yeah, it's not really a submarine, but his top side is going a little bit down, and it's back up. I don't think it's going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going under, but it definitely has an awkward shape, and you can see here the paddles moving on the outside, which is him.
So he's trying to move it now.
Yes. I don't know if he actually knows if he's underwater or not at this point.
I don't think he is, because Nathan continues to communicate with him.
He probably has very little concept of where he actually is, since there are no portholes of any type.
And this doesn't look like it's going to be working. They don't seem to be getting it underwater. I think we could go ahead and stop this.
They actually had a device that they put into the submarine to allow water into it on purpose to make it weigh more. I don't know if they've attempted to use that yet, or if they are just deciding that that was too risky.
Last I checked, they did have the bottle there. What they actually did was they cut a hole in the bottle, and when they uncap it, they would let a lot of water in, and then they could just stop the water by capping it. That was designed to get more water in, but I don't think he's actually using it, because he wouldn't have been able to stay there for very long if there was water in there.
Either that or he did use it, and that's
it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's pretty much nothing else to say about it except the fact that
they seem to be backing off of it a little bit. I'm not sure if anything is planned at this point. He's freely moving the paddles around with no actual concept of where he is. And I'm sure the people on the outside don't want to get smacked by a paddle, so it's a little bit hard to communicate.
They're shouting through the pipe and trying to
see,
get a response back.
He yells and then listens for a response.
And this just isn't going anywhere. It's just it's kind of dead in the water.
I believe he also brought an air horn with him into this submarine in case it started to go under, so that he could blow it and hope that they would hear it before it went all the way submerged. But it doesn't look like it's going under at all at this point. They're pointing the pipe up at this point, which may make them feel like they want to push it under. Never mind.
They don't seem to be making any real attempt.
I think there's a lot of risk in actually pushing it under, and they want to be careful when doing it. I'm not sure what the goal is at this point. We are clapping,
and
so
I think we're done here.
I guess that was the show.
It's not going to be able to be a full submarine, but it was a pretty good design.
It stayed afloat for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it's very good.
Definitely waterproof, at least somewhat.
At least waterproof. And I think they're going to go ahead and pull him out here. I think we're...
Alrighty, this is a POE boat from Firestone High School. This is the sophomore class. In this boat, there's going to be Haley, and to help make it, she had Chloe, Ben, and Emily on a team. It looks like she's also putting Emily in with her, or is that Chloe? I can't tell from here.
That's Emily.
Okay, she has Emily in there with her. This is the 35th boat so far, it looks like. And it's a very small boat they went with. They're heading to the first piece now, and it looks like they're very unbalanced, and they may have some trouble. Again, they did not have the painted part of the cardboard on the outside of their boat, but they did wrap it in saran wrap, so I'm not sure how much that will actually affect them.
So we have more, and this is actually their second year building boats, so I don't know why they made that mistake.
This is POE, the Principles of Engineering class, which is the second class, which comes after Intro to Engineering and Design. And then following Principles of Engineering, you have Digital Engineering, and then...
and they're going down.
They are down.
Sam and no, actually, it's Mike Tedesco, Sam, and David gonna come there and save them.
This boat is going to have Tyler, Jake, Matt, and Tommy in it. It's a very small, simple box design they went with. May have been made a little bit last minute, it looks like. They are part of the Principles of Engineering, which is the sophomore class again.
And they're actually shoving 2 people in that really small box. It's not going to work. Seems like they're taking on water and spinning, and they're not going to make it. They're going down hard, and he falls in.
He actually hit the wall, it looks like. That was not good, but looks like everyone's all right. And they might actually still be trying to go in.
Yeah, because their boat didn't actually fall in. They might actually give it another go.
Yeah, it looks like they saran wrapped it pretty good.
Probably not, though. And that boat, whoa, that boat had a lot of water in it.
Yeah, it did. And it looks like it still floats.
So it looks like they might give it another go with just Jake in there. And he's going to get in there really unstable. He's going to try to row it. It's not really working out for him.
He's asking for the other
paddle.
Oh, there we go.
He's going dual blade with the paddles.
Right there.
And he's getting a big cheer from the crowd.
He is making progress, surprisingly. Look at that toss.
And the first piece just gets thrown in this cart. He's actually going dual blade. This is actually a first I've seen. One person using 2 blades in both hands.
I think he was originally going for the canoe paddle so that he could use both sides, but now he seems to just have one in each hand.
So now he's going pretty slow because he doesn't have as much speed on the boat or whatever.
Yeah, it seems a bit hard to actually use one, especially when your dominant hand, you'd have to balance out for that.
And it was definitely a better idea to have one person in there more than 2. And he's going to try to turn, very dramatic turn there. And he's actually, I think he's going to try to repair the.
There we go. He has a
gets
canoe
it
paddle
fixed.
now.
And that's actually very nifty.
He seems to actually be hitting his boat
there.
more often with it like that. And they
breaks
break
it off again.
So
he's going to have to go dual-wheeled again. And he's making his way to the third piece. Getting some motivation from people that pass out the pieces of wreckage. And he's going to grab the third piece, and he's going to need to make his way to the fourth piece. He's not making the greatest time, but he's definitely trying. He's definitely trying, and this is definitely.
He is legitimately in a box right now.
Yeah,
so
the infamous box.
It's a very small box at that too.
And he's going. He might just make it, but not in a very fast time. And he's still going. Dual wheels is definitely slowing him down. Probably be better if he just used one. But
it seems like he has a bit of.
He doesn't have a choice
trouble.
at this point. He's making his way to the fourth, and
He's passing off for the final piece, and there he
got
goes.
The fourth piece.
All he has to do now is make it to the start, and he'll be done.
And he's getting a cheer from the crowd. Some motivation to go. And he's going very slow, but
slow and steady is not going to win this race, but it'll still complete.
Slow and steady will not win this race, but you'll definitely complete it. He'll finish.
Definitely not a world record holder, but still something. Successful boat nonetheless.
And he's going to make it to the finish line. In about, I would say, about what, 8 minutes, 9 minutes?
Quite a bit of time, that's for sure.
So this boat was definitely designed for one person, not 2. Going to get a big cheer from the crowd.
This next boat up is made by the sophomore class of Firestone High School. This is Michael, Brian, Mac, and Stanley. It looks like both Michael and Mac are going to be going in the boat. Together they should weigh around 180 pounds, apparently. I'm just now realizing that Mac, that I was told is going to be in the boat, is short for Mackenzie. Or McKinley, sorry about that. Firestone High School boat again. They just got their first piece, and they're making their way towards their second with pretty good time. They have a really big boat, which will allow for them to displace a lot of water and definitely stay afloat, which is going to help out their buoyancy a bunch. Their center of gravity seems to be a little bit favored on the right-hand side, which is why they're leaning, but they seem to be doing okay besides that. They are trying to balance out their oars right now so that they don't get too off-balanced, but they're making decent time getting to the second piece. They made it there without having to worry about turning too bad. They did, however, hit the wall, but the push-off will help them out. And they're quickly recovering and heading to the third piece. Making their way to the third piece now, and they are again too close to the wall like a lot of other groups and having trouble maneuvering their left-hand side oar. And their box is actually starting to cave in towards the center of both walls, which is creating maybe a bit of a problem for them later on. You can see Saran wrap is actually not staying fully attached to the boat on one side right now. I'm not actually sure why that Saran wrap is there in the first place, though it doesn't seem to be covering any holes. They're getting a handoff for the fourth piece right now as their right side appears to be caving in, along with their left side. They're a bit crooked in their boat, actually, it looks like. It's not a very even boat. The left back seems to be tilting up, while the front right seems to be pointing down. Not ideal, but it looks like they're going to make it to the finish line.
Wait, Tyler!
And almost there now. All they got is a couple more feet. Not an amazing time, but by no means a bad one. And again, this is the 37th boat so far. And it looks like that's going to count. The boat is still afloat, even though there is one less member. Not sure if they would have counted that anyway. And now they just got to get him out, and that looks like it may be it for this boat.
And this is going to be one of the last boats to go. It's going to be the experimental surfboard. Quinn Gilbert's going to be trying to get on the boat, and he's on.
Yeah, and Jamie, Christina, and Mike helped him design this boat in the junior class. And it looks like he's actually doing relatively well. Inside the tinfoil, there's actually foam to help him stay afloat, and he used wood framing to help keep it together. His legs actually
are off to the side, not exactly on the boat.
I'm guessing that's to help him keep balance on it. He is severely underwater where his chest is, but the rest of it seems to be afloat.
And it fell, and the pieces are falling off, so that's going to be a 30-second deduction.
Yeah, he may actually make it, though, which is a bit surprising.
He's actually using tinfoil and insulator.
Yeah, insulation foam or whatever.
Yeah, insulation foam. And he's actually going really fast.
Yeah, they made sure that it was nice and sealed so that the foam wouldn't get soaked and get heavy.
He's bolting it for the third. And
it seems like he's actually.
Look like he's going down, but he's still on his.
He
surfer.
made it work. He re-leveled himself. He seems to be splashing himself in the face quite a bit, though, and having trouble keeping track of where he seems to be going.
And he gets it, and he's off for the start. He's going to go, and it looks like he's going to make it if he can keep it up. And he's fixing the surfboard.
And there he goes.
And that's going to be a finish. And that was a really fast time for an experimental
but sadly
surfboard.
He's going to get those time deductions for dropping those pieces.
Yeah. But still, a really good design, and really surprised it worked.
Yeah, really unique. You see he even has a tail fin underneath to help him try and stay straight.
And that might just be the last boat.
You can see there's actually a lot of water held within that surfboard. Apparently there was a hole somewhere.
Is that the last boat?
That's either it or there's one more. But I think that experimental one may be the final.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for boats. Oh, wait, I think they're picking one more up.
One more.
Okay, so we're going to have one more going up, and then that'll be the end of it.
It looks like this is actually a boat team that may have went previously going for a second run.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to have Brian Schultz, Jake Allred, Nick, and Andrew reattempt their boat here, trying to go for maybe a higher speed. Maybe it wasn't too waterlogged when they ended up getting it out.
What they're actually trying to do is trying to beat Mr. Petrie, the administrator's time, because they are in second place right now with a minute 22, and a minute 24, and Petrie did it in a minute.
Looks like they may
22.
actually just be free floating because we don't have any of the pieces sitting on the edges for them to take. So I think this may be the wrap up of the boats. Yep, that is definitely the end of the boats for this year.
Okay, so now Mr. Hendricks is, their co-teacher is just going in the boat, and I think they're just free doing it, and that's pretty much it for the official boat races. The fastest time would clock in at Mr. Petrie and
Which I believe
Mr.
was
Savita.
a minute and 20 seconds roughly.
A minute and 20 seconds, and yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for joining us. We'll finish this boat up, see what they're going to do.
Looks like they actually managed to stuff 5 or 6 people in there.
No, they actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in that boat.
Yeah.
They have 4 in the back and 2 in the front, and Hendricks is actually squeezed in there.
Yeah, it looks like they have 5 freshmen and the co-teacher in there.
It's a really solid boat, actually.
It is. You can see they, of course, have someone not paddling at all and holding up the Cheerios box to represent their team.
That's actually very important in this race.
I think they may just be seeing how much power they could actually get behind it at this point. You see they are still following the course. Oh, maybe they are not. The sides are actually starting to cave in from the weight, but it looks like it's holding up relatively well.
This is actually a really sturdy design by the freshmen. Really
you see
good
they
design.
have 2 people on each side paddling and 1 in the back just pushing off as if a motorboat would do. Oh, it looks like they actually received 1 piece maybe.
So they've got 1 piece of the boat, the piece of wreckage, and they're going to be moving, and I don't even know, they're not even going on
No, they're
course
definitely
anymore.
not following the course. I think they're just trying to finish at this point.
They're just trying to finish.
Looks as if they're not very well coordinated right now. I see at least 3 people trying to pedal in opposite directions.
And I think they're trying to destroy the boat, actually, and I don't think they're not even going for finishing.
Well, that's a very unique concept, I guess.
Not even trying to finish. The Cheerios flag is still being held very high.
Oh, yes. You now have a crowd cheering sink.
Now the crowd is cheering
You have
sink.
1 falling out of the back.
1 is filled out, and the other are just going to follow suit.
And there we go. It goes
and Hendricks
under.
goes down.
A good way to finish the races. You have the Saviors, of course, coming in to get the wreckage out.
And I'm pretty sure that'll be it for the boats. Pretty sure that's all the boats.
Looks like this year's finale.
Okay, first place for the top 5 finishes for the boat races this year is going to be the surfboard at 1:15, and second place is going to be Petrie and Savita at 1:22. Third place is going to be Brian, Jack, Nick, and Andrew at 1:24, and third place is going to be the female adult staff at 1:30. That's fourth place, and fifth place is going to be 1:32 with Miller and Bravo. I want to thank you guys for joining us at the Project Lead the Way boat races, and I'm Sandy Togier, and
This is Kalen Canuck.
and we'll see you guys next year.